Hello, everyone. This is Culture Comms and Cocktails, the podcast with internal comms served straight up. I am your host, Chuck Ghost, Senior Strategic Advisor at Social Chorus. And on this episode of Culture Comms and Cocktails, we have Nicole Alvino, Founder and Chief Strategy Officer at Social Chorus. I say we finally have her on the episode because it was finally me asking her to be on the episode. So, Nicole, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Chuck. It's true. I've been a longtime listener, first-time guest, so very excited to be here.
Well, shame on me for taking this long, but I think it's the right time to have you
I've been
on.
working up to it, so
Yes.
hopefully I won't disappoint.
A few weeks back, unless you worked at Social Course, you probably wouldn't know this. We had our SCKO, which is our Social Course kickoff meeting, and during that time, you had shared a bit of history of Social Chorus. So I think it'd be interesting for people to hear you share a bit about the Social Chorus journey, what we've been on, your own journey as part of that, and then now where is that going? So it's sort of that Instagram meme, how it started, how it's going. Let's talk about the path Social Chorus has been on.
Sure. So the journey started over a decade ago. And it started when we were helping companies find people who could tell great stories about their company externally on social media. So we started in that advocacy role. AT&T was actually our first client, and they're still a client now and manage all of their communications on our platform. And what's exciting about that evolution is it's really been the evolution of our company. So we quickly learned that you can't ask your employees to shout from the rooftops how amazing things are unless they really feel supported and informed and connected to the company, its strategy, its culture, and its leaders. So for about the past 5 years, we've really been focused on creating a platform that can reach every single worker in a large organization to give them exactly what they need to feel connected to their company, and that they do have a story that they can share at the dinner table or on LinkedIn if they so choose.
Yeah, I think that's sometimes what gets forgotten about in this advocacy conversation is that social media has taken over that, where really it's just about employees knowing what to talk about, or if they're encouraged to talk about things going on at work. And certainly that's still a big part of what we help organizations do. When I had introduced you, I had said you were a founder, which I think people are pretty clear about what that means, but also chief strategy officer. So for those listening, explain, what does that mean to be chief strategy officer at Social Chorus?
Yeah, I think about it as I get the opportunity to share externally the amazing work that everyone at Social Chorus does. So kind of 3 buckets. One is I spend a ton of time with executives across our customer base. And working with them on how our platform and solution can really help them deliver on their goals to provide a connected, unified digital employee experience, help drive their future of work initiatives. I also spend time with industry analysts and journalists to help educate them on this industry and what's possible. And then the third piece is work with our partners. So whether it's Microsoft, ServiceNow, Citrix, Workday, across agencies and systems integrators, really about how together we can deliver on this digital employee experience that does provide or a key component to the future of work.
And now focusing on the digital employee experience, or something we've referred to as DEX out there. What does this mean to you when we say digital employee experience? And also, what does this mean now as an opportunity for the industry?
Yeah, I think when I think about the digital employee experience or what we hope to deliver, simplistically, it's personalized information exactly that what you need, Chuck, delivered to you where you need it, when you want it, period. So for a wired worker, you and I are both in front of screens all day. There's so much information being thrown at us in different places, pings all the time. It's just too much, especially in a remote situation. So for those wired workers, it's about the signal through the noise and delivering me what I need. So think about what Amazon has done for our
Mhm.
consumer experience. Amazon knows what I need before I know I need it. They're reminding me on my mobile app, in my email, wherever I am in media, and that experience comes to me. We're really doing that same for the workplace. And then when you think about actually the largest section of the workforce, what we call the deskless workforce, or unwired colleagues, that's about 75% of the global workforce. And often they don't have any access. So they don't have a digital employee experience. And that means they have no way to connect to leaders, connect to other colleagues, to connect to even the systems that they need. Can they easily get a PTO balance, swap a shift schedule, check on a new benefit? So all of those things together provide that unified, personalized digital employee experience.
Yeah, if you say swap a shift schedule like 5 times too fast, that's a tricky one. And I think about it too from when you talk about digital employee experience, for a lot of us, that is the employee experience now, being in a pandemic and people working remotely. But you make a great point. We often live in our own echo chambers out there. Three-fourths of the workers out there do not live their lives in front of screens like you and I do for our workday. So they are out. And what I often see when we roll these platforms out to organizations, for those employees who might have been there 20 years or 20 days, this is their first chance to ever participate in that experience. So often they've just been the recipient of an experience. Now they can participate in that experience. So what do you see the people that are out there defining this digital employee experience for all employees, regardless deskless or desk-based? What are people getting right about it? But also, what are the things you see that they're getting wrong about it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the thing that I'm seeing a shift, and I'm sure you are too, in getting right, is people are considering their entire workforce, whether that means part-time workers, contractors, even furloughed workers that we've seen in the pandemic. This notion that regardless of type of work or pay grade, it doesn't matter. Every worker is important and they deserve to have a digital employee experience and that direct connection. So I think that is the piece that I'm seeing, especially forward-looking leaders getting right. I think that I'm seeing a big trend around employee wellness and being able to provide that, whether it's access to different services and just the ability to be able to share. So I think those are things that are working well. I think the thing that we're still getting wrong in some places is trying to force everybody to one place, whether it's at one intranet or one location. That just doesn't work, especially if you have workers who are remote or hybrid or on the production line or out in front of guests or patients. And what we've learned over the decade is we have to meet employees where they are. The only way to get 100% reach of the workforce, which in our view is the only way to provide a true digital employee experience, is we have to meet people where they are. Inside of Teams, inside of Slack, inside of Jira, inside of email, mobile, desktop, etc. I mean, I have different preferences for even different times of the day. And so just like we get these experiences in our personal life, it should be no different at work. So I think that meet them where they are piece is something that we're really leading in the industry to help get everyone to understand the true value of that.
And we know there's different enthusiasm levels around this topic of decks. So as a leader yourself, imagine if you're talking to another leader, or you're talking to someone who's trying to convince their leader that this is important. Why do you think other leaders should be so focused on this digital employee experience?
Yeah, it's all about the people. So I have a very strong point of view that business is people. Nothing happens in business without people. And if leaders don't invest in their people and all of their people, there's no way that their business will thrive, especially in a COVID reality world. And I think about everything from driving people engagement and productivity and their performance. And that's ultimately the performance of the organization. So I think that there's a clear correlation between an investment in people and performance of the organization. And when you do invest in your people, other people want to work there and your best people stay. And again, and that's the only way that organizations will win and thrive in this environment.
And when you think back, you've been a part of this social course journey the entire time, some twists and turns along the way.
Before we were even called Social Chorus.
There you go. That'd be a good trivia question to run at some point, see if anybody even knows what that was called. When you think about the future of social chorus, what is it that gets you most excited?
Yeah, I'm so excited about the opportunity to deliver a digital employee experience that truly does work for every worker. And I think that we humbly believe that we're leading the charge and are so fortunate to have some of the largest employers in the world, from Amazon. I mentioned AT&T has been with us on the entirety of the journey, to GlaxoSmithKline and Ford and Hilton and Boeing and Dow. Like, these are people with the largest workforces in the world who have chosen us to be their partner to deliver on this experience. And so that's incredibly, I feel like Social Chorus is my fourth child. It gives me great pride in doing that, and just the opportunity to connect to all of those workers, as well as give the organization some data and insights about what makes their workforce tick. And I think that the more that we can really understand the relationship between the worker and the organization, the more we can be in sync and aligned. And that's what will move a business forward.
Yeah, whether this is the first episode of this podcast people have listened to, or they've been along my journey with this, there have been dozens of stories from organizations, some that are hundreds of thousands of employees, like you mentioned, some that are thousands of employees, like you mentioned, who are all on this journey and have all achieved success. So if you don't think it's possible at your organization, you're probably wrong. It is possible. Certainly something that we would love to be on that journey with you. So the podcast, Nicole, is called Culture, Comms, and Cocktails. I want to wrap this up with, what is your cocktail recommendation or your favorite cocktail out there?
Well, currently in this winter, the winter of 2021, is that what year we're in? I'm going to go with a Belvedere martini up with 2 olives.
And that's pretty stiff.
It is.
It reminds me, it's interesting when we've asked other people that question. It's some get very fancy, and then some it's like, nope, I just need the straight up.
Yeah, drink. I will tell you though, it's not a cocktail, but AB InBev has been a client of ours for a very long time. So of course, when I'm with them in a world where we can be with them again, it's Stella. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, Nicole, thanks for finally joining. And it took me finally asking you to be on the podcast and walking through the Social Chorus Dex journey. It's been great having you on here.
Thank you for having me, Chuck. Look forward to the next time.
If you enjoyed what you heard from this episode and want to check out others, find Culture, Comms, and Cocktails on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, or wherever you like to listen. And when you do, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any future episodes. This has been Culture Comms and Cocktails, internal comms served straight up. Thanks for listening.